Weeks away from Alberta's pipeline proposal deadline.
We have had a number of proponents come forward and ask to be participants within the pipeline.
The province says that includes one of the richest companies in the U.S. Nearly a year after a shooting killed a Calgary woman, another person is charged. And this home is where the Harts were.
They're all good memories.
The tiny replica keeping Calgary wrestling history alive. Good afternoon. We begin with breaking news. Police are investigating the deaths of 2 people, including a young child inside a northeast Calgary home. Jacqueline Wilson joins us from the newsroom. Jackie, police have just released details.
They have, Alicia. So police say the 2 deceased people are a woman in her 40s and a child under the age of 10. Police found the 2 while conducting a welfare check on a home in the 0 to 100 block of Temple Green Place Northeast just after 2 p.m. Officers won't say who made the call to police or if there were any other people inside the home. But at this time, investigators don't believe there are any outstanding suspects. The public is asked to avoid the area.
This is the second time in just over a month that we have investigated a suspicious death involving a child. These incidents are heartbreaking and have a significant impact on the families and loved ones of the deceased, individuals, members of our community, first responders, and our entire city.
And right now, investigators continue to speak to witnesses, and they're asking anyone with information to contact police, or you can submit an anonymous tip to Crime Stoppers. Alicia?
Thanks, Jackie. Calgary police have charged a 3rd person in connection to the fatal shooting of Madison Cobb. The 23-year-old was gunned down in a parking garage last July. 2 days later, her ex-boyfriend was charged with first-degree murder. In April, police searched this home in Shaganappi and found a number of guns. Charges were laid against a 44-year-old man who police alleged trafficked the weapon used to kill Cobb. Today, police announced 38-year-old Rihanna Mader has also been charged with firearms trafficking. She's accused of arranging the sale of the gun used to kill Cobb. A 4th man has been arrested in connection to a fatal shooting in Ogden in December. The victim was found dead outside his vehicle early in the morning on December 10th. 22-year-old Yahya Abdullahi was wanted on a Canada-wide warrant and was found in Edmonton yesterday. Abdullahi and 3 others, including a 17-year-old, have been charged with first-degree murder and conspiracy to commit murder. One person has been taken to hospital with stab wounds after an attack downtown. Paramedics say the injuries are serious but not life-threatening. It happened around 3 this afternoon along 4th Street and 7th Avenue Southeast. 4th Street has been closed north of the C-train line while police investigate. No one is in custody. The province is halting the rebranding of Alberta's paramedic services. It follows significant pushback from paramedics and other Albertans. Alberta's Hospital and Surgical Health Services Minister made the announcement on social media. It follows the province's announcement last month that EHS paramedics would be changing to Alta Paramedic Health. Organizations representing paramedics said new uniforms and a new logo did nothing to address the EMS crisis. Adriana LaGrange says she's ordered an immediate halt to rebranding and is promising further engagement. The province says less than $25,000 was spent on developing the launch prototypes, and no additional changes have been made to the uniforms or ambulances since the launch. Alberta's energy minister claims several potential proponents have stepped forward to pay for a new West Coast pipeline, but nothing's finalized yet. Now let's bring in Tim Brooke. Now, Tim, it sounds like there is interest out there.
Yes, Minister Brian Jean told reporters today a number of groups have now expressed interest in being pipeline participants, pipeline investors, or having some offtake. And Jean claims that one large American company, in fact, is especially interested in doing all 3 of those things and taking on a lot of the finances with a potential pipeline. Now, despite that claimed interest, Jean wouldn't name any of the potential proponents today or say if any will be attaching their names to the project application that's due July 1st. Keep in mind, the province has said before the project can happen, private financing needs to be involved. Jean also hinted today at the potential of government investment, but he says, as of now, the goal really still to prioritize Canadian and Indigenous co-ownership.
We're not putting anything in stone at this stage, but we do and have had several proponents come forward. We've had one particular discussion with a proponent, actually a Fortune 500 company, in very general terms about financing the entire project and building the entire project. We're in very infant stages, but we want to make sure Canadians have the opportunity first.
Now, we, of course, once again are down here at the Global Energy Show today. A lot of the talk on day 2 of 3 is about some of the emissions reduction policies that are now tied to that pipeline MOU. At 6 o'clock here, what some large producers say needs to change here in Canada, Alicia, before they're willing to invest in a pipeline like the one Alberta's planning to the West Coast.
Thanks, Tim. Boxes of signed petitions were dropped off at the Elections Alberta office this afternoon. Volunteers with Water Not Coal dropped off boxes to the Edmonton office. The group has been collecting signatures to stop coal exploration and mining within the eastern slopes of the Rockies. Elections Alberta says the petition is requesting legislation to prohibit any new coal mining in the eastern slopes. This petition needs over 177,000 names to be successful. Elections Alberta has until Canada Day to verify the signatures. Calgary's Green Line construction has been a political hot potato, and today Calgary's mayor just threw it back to the province. Kevin Green's at City Hall and joins us now. So Kevin, what exactly did Jeremy Farkas say?
Well, Alicia, we know the city's preferred route for getting the south leg of the LRT into the downtown has always been an underground tunnel going beneath the CPR main line, and the province wants the city to use an elevated track to get over top of that line, and it's using its provincial funding as the economic clout to force the city to do that. This morning, Mayor Farkas told reporters he's looking at a third option. That would be to bring the south leg of the LRT almost into the downtown core, but stop it just south of the CP rail tracks. He wants to use the extra money saved by that to extend it further to the south, and then he wants to build a new separate line going from the terminal point of the south leg of the LRT into downtown. Farkas says that would likely start out as buses, but could end up as an LRT tunnel without using provincial money, and therefore without the province calling the shots.
To build within the current envelope as far south as we can, and perhaps have the city and the feds only partner on the phase 2, which could potentially be a downtown underground option. So all options are on the table at this point.
In a statement to CTV, a spokesperson for the provincial transportation minister reiterated that as far as the province is concerned, an underground tunnel is still a no-go, and says that the province is working with the city and Mayor Farkas to find an alignment that respects both commuters and taxpayers. Alicia?
Thanks, Kevin. Firefighters blocked off an area below a Beltline high-rise today because of falling glass. They responded to the residential building on 12th Street Southwest just before noon after finding a broken window on the 7th floor. No one was hurt. Firefighters cleared away the remaining shards of glass, and it's now up to the property management company to complete repairs. It's now safe to take a boat out on Calgary's rivers again. The fire department has lifted the boating advisory for the Bow and Elbow rivers. Flow rates on both rivers have decreased and river conditions have improved. Officials warn, however, that the water is still cold and visibility is still low, so anyone on or around the rivers should use caution. And with that chilly wind today, I don't think it's a great day to get out boating,
No.
Danielle. Yeah.
No, although my kids were in the water in one of the lakes this past weekend. I mean, it's not my choice, but some people are just raring to go for this summer. And this weekend looks fantastic for at least hanging out by the water, I guess you could say, if you don't like the frigid temperatures. Will be nice by the weekend, but it's going to be unstable until then. Look at all these thunderstorms, mainly tracking along the Saskatchewan border. In Calgary, we're on a break right now. Doesn't mean we're done with this, but we're done with it for a little bit. 15 degrees is the temperature right now. We've had gusts over 60 kilometers per hour. So the gusts will continue through the evening hours, die down overnight, and then be back up to 50 kilometers per hour for tomorrow. We'll get some sunny breaks, mainly cloudy skies for tomorrow morning, getting up to a high of 17 tomorrow afternoon, and more instability in the forecast for tomorrow afternoon with showers and thunderstorm activity. That's your 24-hour forecast, brought to you by Fifth Avenue Volkswagen. Family owned, community driven. Discover more at Fifth Avenue Volkswagen.
Thanks, Danielle. A new factory east of Calgary opened today, and the business expects to have big impacts for the community, including dozens of new jobs and supplies for local construction companies. And families are starting to move into new affordable homes in Airdrie. A new $210 million wallboard manufacturing plant in Wheatland County is expected to bring jobs, strengthen construction supply chains, and reduce environmental impacts. The 200-acre site near Carsland opened today and will create nearly 100 full-time jobs. CGC Inc. says it will expand manufacturing capacity of sheetrock wallboard, which is used in housing, commercial, and infrastructure projects. It ensures builders in Western Canada have access to materials more quickly, and that's expected to reduce carbon emissions by 20% and drop water usage by 25%. The company says none of the manufacturing waste will go to a landfill. The site also generates its own solar power. A new affordable housing complex in Airdrie welcomed its first residents today. These 11 townhomes in the Airdrie community of Bayview were built with funds from the federal and provincial governments, the City of Airdrie, and other corporations and individuals. The $4.5 million project will help Airdrie deal with its rapidly growing population and help families afford their first homes.
What we build is a 3-bedroom row townhouse. We have a developable basement. So when we see families with many kids, 5 kids, we are able to put some extra bedrooms in the basement. But what we find is that this build form really suits families. They just thrive in this build form.
Habitat partners with working families who have steady income and strong goals but can't qualify for a traditional mortgage through a bank. Might have been a bit of a chilly moving in day for those folks because there was rain throughout the day and we've got more expected throughout the night.
And when you look at this, would you rather, this is a good question, would you rather get this over with during the work week and then have a really nice weekend, or would you rather all this piled into the weekend?
Good point.
Yeah. Well, we have a nice weekend ahead, but it's going to be unstable on and off until then. Look at that camera bouncing around right now. We maxed out in the high 60s for wind gusts today. So it's definitely a gusty day in the city. It's a cool day, as Alicia just mentioned, 15 degrees in Calgary, when we should be closer to 20 for this time of year. 15 as well in Brooks, 14 in Medicine Hat, 11 in Pincher Creek. Milk River just got to 11, but was sitting in the single digits all day. So it's certainly a chillier day. What adds to this is that cold wind that has been predominantly out of the north and northwest today. And that's a chilly wind with a bite in it for sure. So when you add that to the already cooler temperatures, it certainly doesn't feel like it did earlier this week, that's for sure. 67 was the max gust in Calgary, 46 in Brooks, 48 in Drumheller, and closer to Red Deer in those 60s as well. So it's been a gusty day. The winds will still be windy tomorrow, but a little less windy, gusting 40 to 50 kilometers per hour. Still unstable later in the day tomorrow and through Friday as well. Look at all these thunderstorms that have developed and are tracking towards the south. Some of these starting to weaken and die out, and for Calgary we're on a break, but you can see what's tracking down. This will likely start to break apart as it gets towards Calgary, but we still have the potential for some showers. So if you have soccer, baseball this evening, a good chance of that actually happening, but it might be interrupted by a brief shower. All right, so when we look at the southeast corner, right now the southeast corner, they're under a special weather statement because rotation is possible with some of these cells, so funnel cloud development is certainly a possibility. When we look at the next 24 hours, well, let's go through this. So these cells tracking mainly towards the southeast, we have the chance of an isolated shower in Calgary for this evening, the rest of today basically, and then by the midnight hour, that's all quiet. Then for tomorrow, mainly cloudy with some sunny breaks in the morning hours, and then by 3 o'clock, that's when we get into the chance of isolated showers and thunderstorm activity once again. And we could have a couple bands of this that move through, so even at 7:30, we have the potential, and then this will become more consistent rainfall, basically late Thursday in through early Friday, and we'll pick up some decent totals from that as well. So for tomorrow, a mix of sun and cloud for the morning, and then showers and thunderstorms possible basically after 3 p.m. 17 is the high. Thursday night and through Friday, we're looking at more consistent rainfall, 5 millimeters. Thursday night, another 5 millimeters possible on Friday. Friday, just a high of 11 and windy as well. But your weekend, 17 for Saturday, 22 for Sunday, more stable and a good amount of sunshine.
Thanks, Danielle. The European Bakery and Deli on 17th Avenue Southwest is celebrating its 20th anniversary. The bakery is owned and operated by Shachir Jurai and his wife. They moved to Calgary from Kosovo in 1999. It took them 6 years to find the right location and raise enough money to start their business. Their bakery is now grown to employ 16 staff. The couple were bakers back in Kosovo, and many of their family recipes have been passed down through the generations. They also got some good advice when starting out as baking instructors at SAIT.
When I started, they said, no, if you want to be successful, please stick with what you brought. Because what we have from the SAIT, everybody might find at the Superstore or a Safeway, and you can't compete with those guys.
In 2 decades, the business has carved out a loyal following. They've just added a new retail space, which frees up more room for increased production. Travelers passing through Calgary now have more incentives to stay. The new program aimed at getting more people beyond the airport when they connect through the city. U.S. President Donald Trump says America doesn't need anything that Canada has and is not looking to renew the North American trade deal. Joining me is Dave Popowich, Portfolio Manager with the Popowich-Carmeli Advisory Group. So what are the potential impacts of President Trump's latest threats?
Well, Alicia, as we know, President Trump likes to say a lot of things, but I think it would certainly be a stretch that the U.S. economy doesn't need anything from either Canada or from Mexico. So listen, I think that those kinds of comments, the market largely looks through right now. We're certainly going to have, I think, a very vibrant negotiation between those 3 countries to see what the outcome is going to be. But it's simply not realistic to think that the U.S. Doesn't need its trading partners in the rest of North America. You know, the other thing is the geopolitical backdrop. President Trump again threatening renewed attacks in Iran. And, you know, when you add that, that kind of rhetoric to the mix of the heightened escalations that we've seen in the Middle East, and it creates a bit of a negative backdrop for the market today. And that's really what we saw happen.
And U.S. consumer inflation is heading higher.
Well, it is. Not a surprise there, of course, the headline inflation being influenced by the price of gasoline and oil and whatnot. The really important piece, I think, of that data point today was when we looked at the core inflation, so stripping out things that are volatile like energy, what you see is the month-over-month increase in inflation coming in a little bit lower than expected, and the core year-over-year number at 2.9%. Now, it's an indication that although the headline number is high for inflation, it's not yet bleeding into the broader economy. And I think that was actually a net positive for markets this morning. But simply I think the escalation in the Iranian conflict with the United States just overwhelmed the market today.
And here in Canada, the Bank of Canada holding the interest rate steady today.
Yep, again, not a surprise, I don't think, in that. But the Bank of Canada governor addressing the R word, recession. So Canada in a technical recession. If you assume that 2 back-to-back quarters of negative GDP growth are a technical recession, he tried to downplay that a little bit today and really blamed some of the weak last quarter on spending timing from the government. So he thinks growth to pick up in our country in the last half of this year.
Thanks, Dave.
Bye, Alicia.
Calgary's tourism industry is launching a new program aimed at attracting more international travelers who are flying WestJet.
You can stop over for no additional airfare cost. You book a multi-city itinerary, put Calgary in the middle of that sandwich, and then on your way to the rest of your journey.
Every year, more than 7 million travelers connect through Calgary without ever leaving the airport. The Stopover program encourages those people to turn their layover into a chance to stay and explore the city. Calgary International Airport and the Hotel Association are also giving guests on some WestJet routes deals to stay and eat at 19 partner hotels and access the Calgary Attractions Pass. Kids at Alberta Children's Hospital got the chance to hang out with some pilots today. Each month, pilots take part in arts activities and answer questions from patients before presenting them with honorary certificates. The Wings of Courage program was launched in 2001 after in-flight cockpit visits were discontinued. Well, we continue to follow breaking news in the Northeast. Here's Tara Nelson with a look ahead to CTV News at 6.
Hi, Alicia. Police say a woman and a child are dead, and the investigation into why is still in its early stages. We know police were asked to do a welfare check at a home in Temple this afternoon. Inside, they found the bodies of a child under the age of 10 and a woman in her 40s. Coming up at 6, we will have the very latest live from the scene. Also ahead, fraudsters are impersonating major Alberta event ticket sellers. Coming up, some of the fake offers out there and how best to protect yourself. Alicia.
Thanks, Tara. Well, right now in Calgary, it's mostly cloudy and 15 degrees, but there's a bit of bite to that wind and likely some showers coming up. Danielle will be back with the details after the break. Okay, Danielle, some showers expected, but maybe don't cancel all your evening plans because, you know, they could be isolated.
Yeah. It's like that Friends episode, we're on a break type thing. There's still the potential for isolated showers. And when I say isolated, it means T-ball practice happens in one part of the city, but maybe not in the other part of the city. So just got to keep your eyes on the sky. Right now, though, it doesn't look like anything will roll back in until after 8 o'clock. 15 degrees is that current temperature and our daytime high when we should be at 20. That's more of a normal temperature for this time of year. Tomorrow, high of 17. Fairly similar, I guess you could say, although it looks more stable in the morning tomorrow. Mix of sun and cloud. And then later in the day, after 3 p.m., we get into the chance of isolated showers and thunderstorms once again.
Thanks, Danielle. A local artist has recreated a Calgary landmark, and it's turned into a trip down memory lane for a famous resident of our city. Now, this is a mini version of the Hart House, where Calgary's wrestling dynasty grew up. The artist is a fan of the sport, and now Brett the Hitman Hart is a fan of her work. Brett had no problem today pointing out his room where he bunked with 5 of his brothers. The miniature features a replica bear in a cage, which was a real feature of the Hart home. There's also the dungeon where the boys used to wrestle.
Are you able to open it up? They're all good memories, and that's the one thing about the Hart House, I think, is that it was a house of love, like mostly for so many people that were there. Like even the wrestlers that visited, it was a fun place to go and walk around.
The miniature will be turned over to the Hart family in July. Now, it turns out Brett's niece also makes miniatures, so she'll be taking care of the interior. Thanks for joining us. Now here's the early edition of the CTV National News. It's pretty cute, hey?